Hello.
Hello.
And welcome to our latest edition of Rev Chat.
Of what?
Rev Chat.
Okay.
As you've noticed, we are in a somber mood because of the situation at this time. And I'd just like to say to you all, be safe. We're thinking of you. We're praying for you. And if you go onto our website, you can find all kinds of resources that you can join in with. Joe and myself are praying each day at 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. And we ask you to join in spirit with us. And we're praying for our nation, for the world, for our leaders who have to make all kinds of decisions. And we're trying to ensure that our churches, the life of our churches, can continue to live in strength on behalf of our communities. And so keep watching, because as long as we're allowed to sit as close as this, and we have kind of separated a few inches over the last since last week, then we will continue. We were going to try a new system today, I do have to admit, and that system was to record via Skype. And it was all going very well until yesterday afternoon, when I spent 4 hours trying to load Skype.
That might be the problem.
Skype onto my Chromebook. And despite various attempts, it wouldn't allow me to connect with the team Vicar. There was a warning every time I pressed the final button. So it isn't me to blame that we're sitting close together today, but it is Skype's fault. However, by next week, we could be in a different place altogether, but we hope that you won't know that. Do join us. Today's reading is for the fourth Sunday of Lent.
Yes, well, there's lots of choices for readings this week, because we could have chosen some of the Mothering Sunday readings, but we haven't. We've decided to stick with Lent 4, and the reading is John 9, the whole of chapter John, the whole of chapter 9.
You can cut that out, by the way.
You won't, though. He never does. Have you not noticed this? The whole of chapter 9. There we are. So I'm not going to read the whole of chapter 9.
No.
We're going to pray, see what happens.
As part of your spiritual direction and guidance for the next few days, you can read the whole of John chapter 9.
Yeah. So it's the story of a man who's healed, a blind man who's healed. And Jesus heals him, we're told, by spitting in mud and wiping it on his eyes, in contravention of all current hygiene policies. And he receives his sight.
He does.
But the fascinating part of the story is no one really believes him, do they? They haul him, the Pharisees that is, haul him in front of various people to prove that yes, he was blind in the first place, yes, Jesus healed him. How did he do it? We don't know, but all I know is that I was blind and now I see.
Yeah, well, if somebody suddenly was brought to your door and said I was blind and I can see, and somebody put mud in my face, what would you say?
Yeah, I wouldn't believe him either.
Exactly.
I know, it's tough, isn't it?
It's tough being a Pharisee.
It is. Are you feeling a bit of sympathy now for the Pharisees?
None whatsoever. However, it must be tough in that situation, being a Pharisee, because I think, like most of us, it's a thing that you don't really expect. But then that's the very essence of Jesus and his godliness, that he can make what seems to us the impossible come true. And as we were talking before, part of this being able to see that while the man's eyes are physically opened and he can see for the first time physically, the story is really about his spiritual eyes being opened so that he can recognise who Jesus is. Yeah. A bit like the woman at the well, as you said last week.
There's some interesting parallels between last week's story. This happens in Jerusalem amongst the people who are followers of God already, or as they describe themselves, disciples of Moses. Last week's story was in Samaria with people who were Jews but of a different sect. And there's a couple of really interesting differences. The woman, once she realises who Jesus is, goes off and tells everybody about him, and they come to faith because they come to hear him speak and want to come to faith for themselves. The guy who's been born blind and is now healed, of course, he tells everyone too, but the effect is slightly different. There's a lot of questioning, there's a lot of refusal to believe, and I wonder if John's kind of doing a direct contrast here between the faith of the Samaritans, who were very quick to come and believe Jesus, and then the faith of the Pharisees, who it says they were divided. So I guess it wasn't exclusively they all didn't believe that Jesus could do these things, but he also does it on a Sabbath, which causes a bit more chaos.
Yeah,
and
not good on the Sabbath.
No, healing on the Sabbath.
Yeah, keep the Sabbath day holy. It's one of the 10 Commandments.
It's interesting. We're reading the 10 Commandments, or we were in worship, weren't we?
I shall read them on Sunday.
I often find it odd in a congregation where most people are quite mature to read honour your father and your mother.
Yeah.
But it's always good to be reminded. Anyway, we should be talking about mothers anyway.
We should be talking about
It's Mothering Sunday. But anyway, let's carry on with John and
I think the story, please do read it, because it is a lovely story. It kind of repeats itself several times.
And it's really humorous.
Yeah, it's very humorous. And what happened? Well, a man came and spit on the soil and rubbed it in my eyes. I can see. You can see. Yes, I can see. You can see. I know I can see. Who's the man? I don't know. What's he done? Well, he spit on me. Do you really know? And on he goes, doesn't it? That kind of comedic type of passage. But at its very heart, as you say, is this again God's purpose and act being revealed through what happened to that man. And am I feeling sympathy for the Pharisees? Well, we're always very quick to criticise the Pharisees. And as I said a few moments ago, it perhaps is on this occasion just a little teeny weeny bit easier to understand their whatever. But again, Jesus is saying to them, if you don't see the light and see who I am, then you're going to continue in this path of sin and go into a dark place. Because I am the light. And as long as I'm here, I will be light, and I'll bring light to you and to others.
And we have that statement, one of the I am statements of John, Jesus saying, I am the light of the world. And that is a very powerful image, particularly, I guess, at the moment where we can feel quite like we can't see what's going to happen, either metaphorically or literally.
No, literally.
And some of the stuff that's happening for us is quite dark at the moment, quite difficult, quite scary. So to hold on to that image of Jesus being the light of the world is a very powerful one. And the light that shines in the darkness, and the darkness will never overcome it, is important. And in fact, that's something we're being encouraged to do on Sunday evening, isn't it? As part of our community of Christians all over the world, we're being invited to light a candle and put it in our windows at 7 p.m. on Sunday, and to pray. The resources will be on the website and on Facebook, to pray together and to join in a wave of prayer, focusing on Jesus as the light. So do join in, and it's something we're going to have to learn to do a lot in the next few months and weeks, how we can still be together even though we are all being separated. So
and later today or tomorrow I shall be contacting those who see themselves as members of our community of the Annunciation, community of prayer, committed to a rule of life, to ask them also to commit every Thursday night. Still, I shall still go to church, and we'll still have hopefully have the menu that you produce for us, and we will pray concertedly together that an end can soon be in sight to this, what is a worldwide pandemic, and we hope that soon we can all be back to normal. But for the time being, we can't. And that's very important, because I see in the paper that Mothering Sunday, or Mother's Day as they call it, I still call it Mothering Sunday, Mother's Day has been cancelled if you're over 70 by the government.
Well, you can still receive a card, presumably.
Oh, I don't know.
A phone call.
Phone call, maybe.
Skype.
Yeah.
You won't be able to do that.
Well, I will by then, but my mother's dead, so unless there is a spiritual Skype, I don't think she's quite going to.
Cruel.
I don't think she's quite going to join in that way. But my wife, of course, is a mother, and has already received flowers but not from my daughters.
Oh,
but that's okay. But there will be flowers.
Good.
And you're a mother.
I am a mother.
And you'll be receiving hundreds of gifts.
I suspect not, but maybe a cuddle, if that's okay.
Good. And you will be giving your mother a virtual cuddle.
I will. I'm making sure she's okay, in her self-isolation or social distancing.
Social distancing, yeah. And so, yeah, don't forget your mothers. Do ring them. And there are lots of other mothers who maybe need a phone call as well. So that's what we're trying to do across our team. We're encouraging people to let us know, particularly me, if people are ill. We're going to set up over the next week a system of pastoral phone calls from myself and yourself and Fiona, our curate, who never appears on these, but she does exist. And she'll be joining part of our attempts to keep in touch with our church families and wider people, anyone. And if you're local to Beaminster, you know someone who's ill, or even if you're not and you know someone who's ill, let us know.
Yep.
And if you're allowed under data protection to give us their phone numbers, please do. And we'll add them to our list of prayer and our list of contacts.
Yeah.
As we try to keep everybody still in touch and good. But
Rev Chat will carry on.
Yeah.
So we'll see you every week. We may be doing it slightly differently, but it will still appear. And pretty much every church everywhere now is doing online stuff. So there's lots to choose from. But keep looking at our website, beaminsterteamchurches.org, or on our social media at Beaminster Team. Do comment in the box below, and we love to know that you're watching, and we'll see you again next week.
And do continue to join us 9 and 4 every day for prayer. Thursdays at 7 p.m. for an hour. Join us in prayer from the safety of your virus-free armchair. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.